Good Sunday morning, friends and neighbors. Old Doc here. And you know that Matthew and I have been working on old Milo. We replaced the crank shaft seal and wear ring, and the oil cooler, it had been leaking. It's right back in there. So here we are, 5 minutes later. I've been talking to myself because I don't know what I did, but the video stopped. Anyway, you seen in the last video, I think we put the oil cooler back together. Had a hell of a time getting it back together. We went to put the oil cooler in, and I got a little bit rammy, and with it, and I broke the back section of the oil cooler. Now, from what I couldn't find one on the internet, you know, as far as new or anything. Those front sections you can buy all day long for like 137 bucks. The back section, from what I could tell, it's like obsolete. Yeah, I think it's, if you got a 2004 or newer, you can buy those, but they're different than what's on the old 97. Anyway, you guys remember my buddy John? He's got an eBay account. We got on eBay. We found one. Johnny ordered it for me, and it was pretty reasonable. It wasn't, you know, almost 400 bucks like the new ones are for the 2004s and up or whatever. And I was really surprised. The guy, it took 5 days to get here from, I believe it was California, and it was in very, very good shape. I wish I could tell you the guy's name and give him a shout out, because the thing, it was just pretty much immaculate. No scrapes on the mating surfaces, anything like that. Anyway, the part came. I pulled the old back end off, the one I broke. Checked the O-rings really good. Make sure there wasn't any pinches, chunks taken out, cracks, anything like that. I mean, I just, you know, put them in. They were fine. So I greased up the inside of the housing, the new housing that I'd got, new used, and put the O-rings back on. And I didn't put it in the press, and I just used a 1-inch ratchet strap and popped the end back on, the back end of the oil cooler back on to the tube. And I thought, well, hell, I got it, you know, out and shit. So I popped the front end off and checked the new O-rings that I'd put there. Everything was fine. I greased up. I didn't use the oil that I'd used before. I stuck my finger in some grease and greased up the O-rings, and once again used the 1-inch ratchet strap and pulled the end together. Came out. Matthew and I got it wiggled back through there and put the gaskets in, bolted her up, torqued it, 18 foot-pounds, what those bolts are supposed to be. I guarantee you when we took it apart they weren't 18 foot-pounds, but I think they'd been in there. I don't believe that oil cooler's ever been off, so it was like factory, but it was well over 18 foot-pounds like they claim. So put it back in, new Wix oil filter, 3 gallons of T-Rex 2-ball solution and started it up. Started up, ran just fine for 5 minutes or so. And then we heard a pop. It wasn't a metallic sound, it was almost like kind of halfway between maybe an inner tube or a hydraulic hose, you know, blowing. It was a pop, like a rubber pop. So what I'm assuming is one of those new Felpro O-rings had blown out. You know, they tell me that when the oil cooler goes bad, you don't get antifreeze in your oil, you get oil in your antifreeze. Well, fortunately, I decided I was going to run it a little bit with the old antifreeze, because you guys may have seen in the previous video with the bucket and stuff down there, it was yellow. You know, it wasn't red or green, it was yellow. And that's because I was getting motor oil in my coolant. So I dumped it, fortunately, I guess, maybe, I dumped the old antifreeze back in it. So I pulled the dipstick and we shut it off right away. I checked the gauges and pulled the dipstick. No antifreeze, it's not over full on the engine oil, but when you look at the antifreeze in the jug there, you can't tell, you know, looking down in there, because I poured the old yellow oil and antifreeze back into it. So anyway, we're done messing with this for right now. The only thing we don't have back on is we haven't put the fan back on, we haven't put the shroud back on. Other than that, it's all back together. The only thing we got to do to fix it again, or what we're going to do next time we mess with it, pull the serpentine belt back off, pull this lower radiator hose off so you can get to those 2 front bolts easy enough. And I'm going to unscrew the new oil filter, and hopefully that works again. Putting it back on, I'm going to try to keep it clean. If it don't, well, then I got to get a new. But we're going to pull it back apart and check those O-rings. And I'm just, my money is laying on those Felpro O-rings. One of them blew out. I've never had an issue with Felpro gaskets. I've used them on vehicles for, you know, years and years and years, well over 40 years. Never had an issue. But I think this time I might try a different brand of O-rings. So, because and I'm going to bring you guys along for when we pull that apart. Not for the dismantling and all that crap again. You guys, you've already seen that. When we pull it apart, it's not going to be next weekend, because we kind of have other plans. But when we pull it apart, I'm going to show you what we discover, and we'll go from there. So, last Saturday, Matthew and I took a road trip. And we went, yeah, I got a whole bunch of scrap iron that still hasn't gone on the trailer. We need to get that up one day. Unfortunately, from the website, the scrapyard isn't open on the weekends, only during the week, and that's what screws us. Anyway, last Saturday, Matthew and I took a road trip, and we went up to Shane Holt's state. I wish we were closer to his home so we could have stopped in and said hi. I know he's awful busy this time of year with chopping and his dairy cows, but he was clear to east end of the state. We didn't get that far, but we did take a road trip, and I'll show you what we got. You guys remember here last winter, I believe it was. There's cornbread. Hey, you little turd, get your ass over here and eat. Meow. Sits over there and meows. Yeah, let's see if I can point. Where's my finger? There he sits. Never came home last night to eat, and he didn't come up this morning to eat. Matthew went looking for him. So anyway, come on, you little peckerwood. So, you guys remember me getting my snow blower and telling you about the old Sears mower I had and how well it worked. Matthew and I took a road trip. I got to make this quick. Up to Minnesota. And there she is. This one is a 16 horse, which my old one was a 12. So this one is a little bit bigger. The engine's locked up. Why it's locked up, I don't know. It's pretty dirty. I don't think it was taken care of very well. You can see the, maybe, if I get you down, the oil and dirt caked in there. Hopefully you can see that. That is not good for an air-cooled engine. They get hot and they lock up when you do that. And we took the flywheel cover off. Fortunately, believe it or not, we only wrecked one bolt, and that was right there, easy enough to fix. So, trying to free it up, we sprayed our lubricant down the spark plug hole. Left it for a day, didn't do nothing. I had a 3/4 inch ratchet and breaker bar, or socket and breaker bar on there, rocking the flywheel just a tad. You know, that's all it would move. And the other day I came out to rock it again, dropped the damn breaker bar, and these fins are like glass. Snap that fin off. So if we get this, we're gonna take it apart, see how bad it is. I'd like to get it running and use this same engine. If we don't, if it's not going to be cost effective, if it's the cylinder is, you know, beyond, they tell me that a Predator 420cc will fit in here, and guys really enjoy them. Or I see Lowe's has a 420cc, I believe it is, Duramax or something like that, Dura something or other, and it's only like $30 more than what Harbor Freight gets for their Predator, and those are rated at 15 horse also. So anyway, that's where that is. So then we can put, after I get this deal off, I don't know what it goes to, but it doesn't go into the blade or the snowblower that I have. And these damn pins are rusted in there. So I'm gonna probably today work on getting that off for a little bit. But that snowblower will mount right back on here. And I mean, it has other issues. The only thing that really wasn't stuck on it was the steering wheel. The steering wheel would spin. Well, the reason the steering wheel would spin is because they got the shaft, they lost the nut that goes on the steering sector down there, and the shaft is just hanging down. And all the tires were flat. This one was flat. We put a tube in it, cleaned up the rim, put a tube in it. Our friend John had this tire and rim laying in the back of a parts truck he bought. He gave that to us, but it's a tubeless tire. It's also going down, so we're going to pull it off this rim, put it on the rim that's supposed to be on here, throw a tube in it. The back tires, they're bad cracked, probably as bad as this front one is. but we're going to pull them off and see if we can just stick a tube in there for a while. But anyway, that's where we're at. Yeah, there's the 2 jugs of the new T-Rex 2-ball solution that we had in just putting Milo. I got to dispose of that properly. So anyway, I think with that, friends and neighbors, that kind of brings you up to speed. Oh, well, not quite. Day before yesterday, you guys have probably seen the video of my old cat that plays fetch, or used to play fetch. She's old. She's 16, 17 years old. And she's been losing weight for a year. And, you know, she's getting, her days are getting near. Well, she's just kind of really been going downhill. So Friday evening, Matthew and I took her to the vet. And which she hasn't been to a vet since she was a kitten. And took her up, had blood work done and all that, and everything is good except my fears. I mean, there's several things that happens to old cats, and from thyroid to cancer and kidneys, I guess, are the major deals. And yeah, sure enough, old Shadow, her kidneys are getting bad. She's not messing on the floor or anything like that. She's just been off of her feed and everything. But we got her some new feed. There's cornbread underneath. Maybe you can't see him. We got her some. Got her a few cans of feed from the vet, which you can't buy over the counter, you know. So I'm assuming that the pet food you buy over the counter must be like buying a Luden's cough drop or something, you know, when you got pneumonia. So anyway, we got her some different food. No more dry cat food for her. She has to have moist food in pouches or cans because she needs the moisture, and she drinks plenty of water. But the dry cat food, he said at her age with her kidneys, dry cat food is out for her from now on. So, which is no big deal. They gave me a medication. I guess he said you must wear rubber gloves when you give this to her. Come on, let's go up and eat, dum-dum. Your food's been up here all day. Come on, cornbread. Come on. Come here. So you must wear rubber gloves when you administer this medication. It's an antidepressant. It's absorbed through the skin, but the main goal is to make her hungry, so she eats more and puts on a little bit more weight. And you put a string of it about an inch, inch and a half long on your finger, and you rub it inside one of her ears, and then you alternate ears. You do one ear one day, and then the next day you do the other. And it must be working, because she has really started eating. Hey, she has really started eating, and she's even acting a little better. Come here, you peckerwood. Your food's up here. Come here, little dum-dum. Come here, cornbread. There you go. Now, you looking for Matthew? He was looking for you. So anyway, I'm going to cut it off. This is getting way too long. Way too long. So, with that, friends and neighbors, have a great day. Do something kind for a friend, a stranger, or a loved one. Even if it's just saying please or thank you. or you know, do something kind today. Try to do it every day. With that, we're going to close it out. Happy trails, friends and neighbors.